I want to talk to you guys about today is real simple, but it's very important. It's called building endurance. All right, if you're taking notes, I want you to write that down. Today we're going to talk about building endurance, because believe it or not, outside of your faith, endurance is the one thing you need to be successful in this business. Again, outside of your what?
Faith.
Faith. Because a lot of you guys are here and you got the knowledge, you got the excitement, you got everything you need, but you really don't believe you can do it. You really don't. You'll say you do, but you really don't. And I'll prove it to you. Actions speak louder than what?
Words.
Words. So you can tell me you believe all you want, but if you get out in front of a prospect and freeze up and get nervous, you don't believe you can do it. Because here's the reality. Does a prospect know more, or do you know more?
Yeah.
So you can be brand new, first time in the room today, and go get a prospect because they know what? But if you freeze, you don't believe you can do it. See, it's all those little things that keep you from being successful, like freezing, like overanalyzing, like paralysis analysis. All those things are what keep you from being successful. So outside of your faith, endurance is the number one thing you need. Speaking of faith, let me just give you guys an idea or something that is on my spirit. Isn't it amazing how faith is believing in something that you cannot prove or see? Right? But you believe in it. The ultimate example is who? God. Now we believe wholeheartedly in something that we cannot necessarily prove through scientific research, if you will, right? We believe in it wholeheartedly. But we also believe that we are children of what? But you don't believe in yourself. Isn't that something? So you believe in higher power. You believe in higher being. You believe that he protects you. You believe you're a child of him, and then you walk out of here and don't have faith in you. So how can you be a miniature version or extension of the higher being, but then when it comes to you, you shut the faith down? Does that make sense? That's a contradiction. You got to have the same faith in you and this business as you do your higher being, because they're both from him. Faith and doubt can't exist in the same spot. So it just amazes me how many of you guys will quit this business after 30 days because you don't have any endurance. The reason is because you don't value the education that you get in this industry. You really don't value it. I said this the other day on a call. This business is not for you. Now let me prove that to you. Write that down. This business is not for you. You say, Brian, man, that doesn't sound very optimistic. It's not for you. It's for the person that you're going to become. So whenever someone says, Brian, man, I'm just going to give up, man. It's been 3 days. And this thing just seemed to me like, man, all 4 of my friends said, no, I just don't think this business is for me. You know what I tell them? It's not. It's not for the current you. See, you have to learn to grow, and that's something that we all have not done in quite some time, because everything after you leave college is given to you. I'm not saying you don't have to work for it. What I mean by that is you lose your imagination or that creative drive, that brain that you had when you were a child. You kind of stop what? You stop using it and stop dreaming. So what I mean by that is, don't think I mean you don't work hard for what you have. I mean everything is kind of given to you, so no longer do you have to kind of reach and stretch and strive, right? Because now you got the plan that you thought you were supposed to be on. Well, with that comes a price, okay? Excuse me, you have to understand this, very important. The you that you're going to become to get the new money is who the business is for. You have capped out what you're trying to do personally. That's why you're here. So you wouldn't be here if you didn't understand that new money takes new what? You. So why are you saying that the business is not for you when the fact of the matter is that's the old you?
All right.
So it's not for you. So you got to stay in here long enough to see the money that the new you brings. But some of y'all are not going to do that. You're going to keep the old you and want new money. Those who don't work. That's the difference. The old you and new money don't work. Everyone knows this business grows exponentially. Now, so let's grow together exponentially. And I'm going to show you how endurance pays off. Y'all ready? 2 times 2 is what? 4. 4 times 2 is what? 8. 8 times 2? 16. Times 2? 32. Times 2? 64. Times 2? 128. Let's stop right there, because I'm not good at math, got an English degree. Let's stop at 128. Alright? Now let's take 3. So we stopped at 128. 3 times 3 is what? 9. Times 3? 27. 27 times 3? 81. Times 3? 243. Times 3? 729. Everybody got it? That's the difference down the road between 128 and 729. One person. So when you go out here and you don't talk to one more person, just know you pay for that. When you go out here and you take a week off, just know you pay for that. You pay for that. That adds up over the 3, 6, 9 years you've been in. See, everybody want to count how long they've been in the business since they apped up. Nobody wants to add up all the 0 days you had since you've been in the business. So Brian, I've been in 8 months, yeah, but when we calculated, you've been in about 200 days. So nobody subtracts the 0 days where you did nothing. Yeah. But you want to look at the calendar and then wonder why you don't have 6 checks that you haven't cashed yet. See, professionals understand that the little things we don't do over time multiply. Yeah. They cost you. So, see, I just decided that I was going to put as much time in my business as I could so that it would catch up with the money. So people thought I didn't have time. It's not that I didn't have time. I didn't have time for what you was talking about doing.
I know that.
I had time for my business, so now that I'm 35, money and time exists. But I just try to tell, I'm just straight up with people. You gotta make a decision. Think about it, guys. If time and money is all you have, and you have doing the one you got, your results are 0. Think about it. A lot of you guys claim you don't have as much money as you want. So you better have a lot of time. But if you got time and have doing the one thing that you claim you do have, you're not going to make no money. So with the time you have, you got to go ahead and give it your what? Your all. But some of you guys have doing the one thing that you say you have. So now you're working on a quarter of what you claim you have. Then you multiply that by all the 0 days, and you wonder why you haven't hit anything yet. You're not doing the business. In fact, you're not doing anything. Here's the deal. And you've heard this in several different ways, but it just makes sense. The space shuttle uses like 80% of its fuel to take off. That bad boy, all that fuel they put in, it's breaking the gravitational pull of the Earth to even get it into the atmosphere that burns 80% of the fuel. Now, once it's up in the air, it's coasting. That's the easy part. I think they can even gas up there. That makes sense? That's easy. But it's the burning of the fuel that even puts you into the stratosphere. Some of you guys are coasting during the fuel burning process. You gotta burn the fuel, then when you get into the stratosphere, you can start coasting. And those of us that are really serious, we don't even coast in. We get back into fuel burning up there. The number one thing you need outside of your faith is endurance. I got 10 or 15 minutes to close out. Everybody ready? How do you build endurance? Write this down. You must first have self-confidence. In order to build endurance, you must have self-confidence first. Alright? So let's define self-confidence. Self-confidence, or let's figure out the best way to get it. You guys know what self-confidence is. Self-confidence is how you feel about who you are and your ability to accomplish what it is that you said you were going to do. That's what self-confidence is. Self-confidence is how you feel about who you are and your ability to accomplish what it is you said you were going to do. But how do you get it? A lot of people think this is hard. Self-confidence is easy to get. All you do, take action. People don't understand that. taking action builds self-confidence. Now, I'm going to give you guys a silly exercise that I do every single day, but it's been working for me for a long time. All right? When you wake up in the morning, watch this. Make a list of everything you have to do. Now, you've heard this in seminars and stuff like that, but I don't mean it on your traditional level. I mean, make a list of everything you have to do. Watch this. I'll put things on my list that are inevitable. For example, go pick up Makai from school. Now, that's not something I'm going to forget, but I write it down anyway. You know why? It feels good to check something off that you write down. It's silly, but what it does, it creates a habit, so when you get into the big checklist, they become easy because you've been doing it on little stuff. Small stuff. I celebrate taking the trash out. It's crazy, right? But that was on my list. Take out the trash, take the dog to the vet, get Makai, brush your teeth, wash your face, not in this order. So let's do it in order. Brush your teeth, take a shower, wash your face. Take out the trash, take the dog to the vet, call those 10 people from last night, do this particular training, write the training for this Saturday, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. At night, watch a documentary, make a DVD, take a bath, go to bed. Then at night on my whiteboard, I look at my report card and everything has a check by it. You know why? Because that was easy. See, what a lot of you guys do, you save the checklist for big stuff and none of them get checked off because you ain't been checking off little stuff. So how you gonna go from nothing to accomplishing all your goals and dreams, just check, 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 when you ain't been checking in 20 years? I learned this a long time ago from a waiter. The money is with the dirty dishes. I said, what you mean? He said, well, think about it. The person that come out and seats you, they all pretty and all that, but ain't no money on the table. The hostess very rarely get tipped. She come out, she seats you, she the first person you see. He the first person you see is usually the person with the best smile and the best personality. They seat you. Other people come and clean up. The money is with the dirty dishes. See, a lot of you guys looking real pretty. But some of us coming in and cleaning up after you. See, it's basic stuff. The guy, he told me, he said, I'd rather be a cook or clean these tables than be the pretty hostess any day. I said, what you mean? He said, y'all don't need no money when y'all don't have money on the table when you sit down. See, the basics, the money is in the fundamentals, not all the pretty stuff. The money is in the fundamentals. When you get lost, take some action. When you get down and depressed, it's easy. Stand up, hold your head to the sky. Your posture will not allow you to be depressed. Right. In that temporary state of mind, do the action necessary to rebuild yourself what? Confidence. I went through a phase of my career where I didn't know where I wanted to go. And it was scary. This back, I was maybe 23, 24. I had my first rug kind of snatched from me. So I was retired. I had a decent savings account, or what I thought was decent at that time. But I got really, really nervous about my career and what direction I was going into. I stood up, I said, Brian, because I always say this to myself, what would you tell the audience that you train? I said, you would stand up, you would hold your shoulders square, your back up, and your chin to the sky. Then I read something else. You know what else you need to do? This is silly, but it works. When you get sad, y'all ain't gonna do it. And I did it one time to test it out. Skip up and down the street. I did it at night. I was so depressed. I was like, you know what, man? I wanted to try anything. I just thought, and you know what? It was so silly. For a minute, I laughed and hadn't laughed in 3 weeks. I got that from Tony Robbins. He said, just start skipping. You're a grown man. I'm just like, well, this better work. And I started laughing. And in your temporary state, make a quick what? Call. Because see, you have to work yourself out of a funk. It's hard to do, but you got to work yourself out of it. I tell you one thing, sitting around all day worrying about it on the sofa, watching TV and calling your negative friends who don't have any answers for you, I promise you that ain't the solution. So I look silly for a minute, if it's going to make me smile so that I can come up out of my own way. Fine. Because when you work for yourself, it's hard to find support and help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you got to have self-confidence. Self-confidence derives from your ability to take action. And without self-confidence, you cannot endure. Self-confidence is the main thing. Number 2, you need self-esteem. You got to have self-esteem. Self-esteem is the feeling you get from a sense of accomplishment. All right? Self-esteem is the feeling you get from a sense of accomplishment. And we've all done this. You just don't apply it to your business. Fellas, especially. And I'm going to use this example, but I'm going to use it domestically, but don't take it the wrong way. Everybody got it? I'm going to use a domestic example. Let's say, ladies, you went ahead and did all the spring cleaning inside. And fellas, let's say your job was to go ahead and do all the landscaping outside. Everybody got it? Now, I know sometimes the roles are reversed or whatever. I'm just saying, let's just use an example. Ladies, y'all do all the spring cleaning, send the husband outside to do the yard. We've all done this. Ladies, when you clean up the house, you didn't pay nobody to do it. You set a goal. You set a time, date, expectations. You clean the house up, waxed the floors, hooked up the kitchen, did the drapes, dusted, did the blinds. I'm talking about that good cleaning, where you lift stuff off the shelf, not go around it. I mean, when you remove stuff and get all up under everything, right? When you finish, don't you sit back and look at what you did. It feels good. You know what it is? You've been in the house 15 years. It's not that. It's that you said you were going to do something and you did it. And it looks good. Fellas, when you wash the car, and you instead of taking it to get washed, and you do it yourself, it's a little different when you do it yourself. That's more work, but there's no sense of accomplishment from you going to get the car dropped off. When you wash the car, you be like, you know what, this bad boy here, it could be an 89, but it's clean. When you do the landscaping, you trim the hedges, you get the driveway. See, that's called self-esteem. Self-esteem is the feeling you get from a sense of accomplishment. You set out to do something and you did it. That's why, albeit small, that little checklist I gave you, take out the trash, do the dishes, pick up my son from school. See, that sounds small and insignificant. Watch how you feel when every day your checklist is 100%. And you put little junk on it on purpose. Y'all understand that? That's intentional. It's an exercise that over time, the little stuff fades and the big stuff is checked off more what? More rapidly. That's what self-esteem is. It's the feeling you get from a sense of accomplishment. Guys, write this down. Never sit idle. Ever. As long as you're alive, and as long as you're moving, and as long as you have good health, you can accomplish things. But you just can't sit idle. You may not feel like it, but you're growing as long as you're not dying. There is no middle, guys. There is no middle. Gray means you are dead. So people say, Brian, no, my check was $2,000 last week. It was $2,000 this week. It was $2,000. I'm doing good. I'm making $8,000 a month. Okay. 30 days later, you still at $8 grand a month? Yeah. Okay. It's only a matter of time before 8 becomes 5, 5 becomes 4, because you haven't replaced the attrition, which is certain to happen with new production. So you have to have a system of what? Accountability. 3 things you need to endure. 1, self what? 2, self what? 3, a system of what? Accountability. Thank you, bro.